What's going on, y'all? It's another episode of Minding Your Biz. I'm one of your co-hosts, Dr. Black Wealth, and we got...
Hey, guys. It's your girl, Miss Fat Financial, checking in.
Yes. Welcome to the number one show, all things wealth, business, and finance, where we come and give y'all the nuggets and check in with y'all, man. So today we got an impactful show. We're talking about the Atlanta
Black Wealth.
So make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, hit that bell. If you guys are looking for any type of advice on your business strategy, growth, consults, etc., we'll do it live on the episode. Make sure you email us. Email us somewhere here, info@mindingyourbiz.com, and we will read it right live on the episode.
Right.
So
real time.
Yeah, man. So yeah. Don't forget to hit that bell. Make sure you stay tuned.
Please. All right. So here we go. Black Mecca Math. How does Atlanta stack up? Right. So it was a article that was posted that talked about Black wealth in Atlanta. Right. Most people have come to Atlanta for some type of advancement. You want something different. So most of us are transplants and have had some success here. But it says, according to the data, that it is the largest inequality of wealth between black and whites. So 183,000 is the increased residents that have moved to Metro Atlanta from 1995 to 2020. So that's quite a lot of people, 183,000. That was the largest gain in an American city, Dallas being second at 72,000.
Say that again.
I got you. So 183,000 black people moved to Atlanta between 1995 and 2020. Okay. So the migration came south.
You got a combination of freakniks and
you know what is well, listen.
Freakniks.
Whatever brings you to the city. Whatever brings you to the city, okay? And
was that after the Olympics? When did Atlanta do the Olympics?
I think it was 96.
96. Oh, so
a little bit before, right? Yeah.
Okay.
And the second largest was Dallas with only 72,000. So Atlanta number one.
Dallas is definitely on the move.
I was just in Dallas.
I like Dallas.
Still very much affordable. Oh, the traffic is crazy, but we can talk about that another time.
Texas got some different heat.
But still very much affordable with rental properties too, apartments. Very much
it's
affordable.
Very wealthy out there.
Yeah. So basically, it's saying that in Atlanta, the median household income for black residents is $38,000 compared to white residents, which is $114,000. They said this is one of the largest black-white income gaps in the country. And how do you feel about that?
So,
like, what could that be attributed to? How did we?
Yeah, I don't know why. I hope nobody's surprised, because this, I think, is a consequence of social integration. We speak about desegregating when we did, right, through the civil rights movement, and you can't really. You gotta be careful, because you can't really fault the movement itself, because in my head, like, looking back at it, I understand at that time, like, we did this. It's still a form of acceptance, though. And the byproduct of that is black businesses failed. And as much as people might say, I don't want to be a business owner, but those are the things that thrives the economy, because they're the people who employ it.
Right.
The government is also a large employer. However, you know what I mean? We can't no longer say, like, the government is trying to do whatever, because it's a lot of black people. Look at the way Congress looks. It's a lot of black people throughout government everywhere. It's a lot of black mayors. It's a lot of
local government.
A lot of black people everywhere in politics.
It's complicated and layered for sure.
For sure.
I think
you just got a byproduct of lack of businesses.
Okay.
That's one. And then two, this one might be, I've just recently started to put this rabbit hole together. So I've been looking and studying real heavy into private equity. So what I did was I looked up a company. I looked up Robert Smith's company, who I knew was a black founder for his private equity.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Smith owns Vistaprint, which is a PE, private equity for software engineering. So he buys up software companies and also integrates businesses with softwares. So small businesses like ours can do B2C or B2B work using softwares, right? And so I've been down I looked up him and I looked up some white people, right? So I looked up the Carlyle Group, I looked up BlackRock, I looked up Blackstone, and what I wanted to know was I wanted to know about their company, what they're doing, and I also looked at their team, their leadership team, their board. There's not a lot of black people across all four companies I mentioned that sits on these boards.
For sure.
The Carlyle Group has 2 black men. Right? I forget their names off the top of my head, but you can look it up. Robert Smith has none. So the diversity is women, white women, mostly. You understand? And so what I'm getting at, this is no like what I ended up figuring out or discovering, like I said, is no shade to Robert Smith or anybody else. But what the thing that came to my head was that there just must not be enough black professionals that are really dedicated to a specific skill set or craft that makes them be seen at the time. It's got to be no way. It's got to be no way.
Well, that we could tiptoe in that
and so I think it's an answer
later, but we wanted
that.
to talk.
But I mean, I
wanted to talk about the
inequality
in Atlanta, where there are black professionals here who are more than capable, but the medium salary is only $38,000. They're talking about household, right? Household, where the medium salary for our white counterparts $114,000. And so, what can be contributed to that, right? I think 2 things. When you're talking about household, I don't know the ratio. I'm just throwing this out. I don't know if maybe there are more white married people. So they're talking about 2 incomes possibly versus black household. If it's just 1 income, I don't know. I'm throwing that out there. I didn't research that. I'm just coming up with why is there an inequality like that. And 2, I think when we talk about household wealth, a lot of us don't properly report our income. Most of us are self-employed, and we usually aren't very transparent and 100% honest on the income on those sheets to say how much we make. But I don't think it's that we lack the skill set and ability to sit on someone's board. I just don't think we look to serve on boards, and I don't think that those people look to have us serve on boards. Because I know some Ivy League black brothers called the Giles and their father and those people in their circle of influence who are more than capable and who are in that atmosphere. Some of us don't know about it. Some of us were new into this space, right? I'm just learning probably in the last 2 years about boards and private equity and all that stuff. But some black families grow up in that. And so why aren't they on boards? Why aren't their family on board? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that there lacks skill set for us as a people. I definitely doubt that 110%. I feel in that top echelon, it's relationship driven. And just because you're black doesn't necessarily mean you're for us, right? At all. You still sometimes think that their ice is colder and you want to drink. You just talked about integration. And so sometimes you want to say, look, we can do this thing, and I'm going to do this thing so well that I'm going to be almost the opposite of black, right? I'm black, but my staff is diverse, but it's consisted of white women. That's not diversity to me.
I think that about any black person in criminal justice.
But sometimes we end up drinking the Kool-Aid and we don't realize that even as you climb to the top, you have to be intentional about the people that you surround yourself with, that you hire. Be intentional about that.
So it's not the fact that... I don't want to say that
we don't have talent at that level.
It's not the fact that we don't have the talent. However, there is a lack of exposure that is an issue because
I would agree with that.
I think that most of us take the easy ride out. If you look at the majority of us, we take the easy ride out. What's the easy ride? Now, relative to how you feel, college is not super easy, especially for some. However, most black people are in easy professions that are easy to get, in my opinion. You go to college, you have a lot of them that are educators, healthcare workers, and you mostly stop at being a nurse. We're always in professional task-driven jobs. That's just what it is. I'm not saying that, I'm not saying it like it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that's what it is. So for Atlanta to have such a huge income gap, there's a lack of people not employed at high levels. That's what that shows.
For sure.
You're not on management, you're not on leadership, you're not on executive teams.
But do you think that's a reflective of the hiring versus the talent?
It could be, but that's a factor for sure. That is not like
you got
it's not off the
here,
table.
School of Medicine.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I would
it's definitely not off the table.
not say that the people at the top don't have talent.
100%.
Yeah.
But the problem is at the same time, you don't have enough ownership in the city. You don't have enough black ownership in the city. Otherwise, you would be employing your people. That's the only way it comes down to.
I think you almost debunked that because you literally said that Robert Smith has no black people on his board.
He don't.
So even as black people have ownership, we still don't hire.
Yeah, but how many?
Board is definitely different than his C-suite. So I don't know.
Even
maybe
the C-suite. But what I'm saying is that
sorry, Robert Smith.
I looked at it all. Yeah, my boy. I looked at it all. So but my thing is, I'm saying in that world, there's not a lot of people. It's not a lot of black people, and that's specific to private equity. So it might be an outlier. In finance, is not a lot of black people, period.
For sure.
Let's just start there.
Yeah.
And where we are the most in finance is always at the easy professional stuff. It's the let me be a financial advisor. Let me sell life insurance. Let me sell investment products. And it stops there for the most part. Nobody's thinking about let me own the insurance company. Let me own the investment company. Nobody goes that far. They stop at the easy professions or the hard easy that it takes for them to get. And there are studies that shows it from college.
For sure. I think
we go into the psychology. We want to be therapists. We want to be you ain't making money doing that. We're not thinking from an economic standpoint, what can we do that makes money?
Therapy makes money.
Sure.
Yeah,
but every profession has levels to it.
I agree, but
there's definitely the smallest time tax professional versus the big CPA firm.
For sure.
So there's levels.
I think that
we never get past level 3.
I think that the statistics can show exactly what you're saying, right? The numbers show there's a large income gap.
You think there's a fault in the numbers?
No, I don't think it's a fault, but I think
could be though.
I think that's when you go, well, what factors did you gather to get the info? That would be my first question. What factors did we use? What was household status? Did you do single versus married, right? And you're talking about W-2 salary.
But I wonder how much that matters because and I don't know everybody's household, but I know a lot of white.
Because it says
household married, the wife don't work.
It says household income.
Right.
So
it's just the total.
So it's the total, but is that 2 incomes versus 1?
But it could be. But most white wives don't work. I know white people with master's degrees that stay at home moms.
I do, absolutely.
So
but on average, there's a lot of working white people. That's still a class where you still have white women not working. But there's still a lot of white women who work.
The thing is they just have more access. And I think that this is a great conversation to have, because it goes in line with what we were talking about last week with the John Hope Bryan's, business plan for Black Americans. But I think that Black people have to start to we really have to start to think strategically. You have to think about generation from generation. One set of generation fought for us to be recognized. Mm-hmm. Another set of generation sacrificed working for stability so plants, whatever they had to do, blue collar type stuff
to feed their
family. And you really kind of still in that same type of generational thinking.
For sure.
That allowed their children to probably go to school, go to college to get better degrees and etc. for them to be great, right? There's some people who, you know what I mean? And then now I think you had a shift where we have tried, everybody has tried all that. We done went to school, you done got the degree, you still shut out, you're not making enough money, people don't want to buy homes, they looking to rent, they're not looking to do the normal stuff.
But I do think you have to look at in the amount of time we're talking about here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're talking about maybe 50 years. Where you could really kind of pave your way without Jim Crow, without segregation,
probably
without,
less than that.
You know what I mean? You got
20, 30-year runway.
Right. And I think when you look at this amount of
really
amount of success we have, I think we're doing good, but it's almost like you got to try to fix everything at one time. And it's impossible to do that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's impossible. Yeah. Okay. Unless you are like total totalitarian where you're like, hey, this family, you guys are going to study science. Yeah. This family, you're only going to study engineering, right? You're going to do politics and you are business finance people, right? The generations have to kind of curate that.
For sure.
And it takes time to do that. But I think the studies show that inequality gap there is access that, you know, because in my neighborhood, which is kind of a middle class neighborhood, it is all Black people. And everyone owns their home. They've been in those homes for at least 5+ years. So you got some equity there. There's some wealth creation happening there. But when you look at us as a whole, you go, dag, the average income is still only $38,000. You know,
because that's still a small population of people.
Absolutely.
It's a small. So that
definitely opens my eyes.
Right.
Sometimes we get kind of a little, you're limited by
you still
your
having
limitation,
first,
right?
You know, 2025, first Black something.
Yeah.
It's going to still be that way for a while.
Yeah. So when I'm like, dang, it's still the average income here is still only $38,000. Okay, I see why it is what it is. Though I feel and always have a hard posture for my people, and we're in taxation, so we see the W-2s coming in, we see the stuff coming in real time, and you know it's there. But I'm like, dag, that inequality that's a huge gap.
The truth is, though, I think.
And what do we do to shorten the gap?
I think a lot of people really have to you probably got to spend a lot of time online because that's probably the easiest way that you can get exposure. You need to see. I think it's very important for you to see any possibility of something that you can become. Yeah. Because without doing that, it's very limited.
Yeah.
My grandmother worked for 50 years in a building on Times Square in janitorial, cleaning out the building. Now, relative to New York, she made upwards of $80,000 a year and traveled every year because she saved her money. That's what she wanted to do.
And the cost of living at that time was still relatively fair.
For sure. I mean, 50 years, she just retired in 18, 19, right? So, but then to retire and be relying on stuff like, she's not making the amount of money she was making. So it's like you retire, but then struggle, right?
For sure.
My mom works at the post office. There's no shade to none of this stuff because people make livings off these things. But if we're not tied to a possibility of somebody or who or a thing that we could possibly be, you'll never get there. So for me, I really push the investors, the entrepreneurs, because you are going to be the people who can pave the way for those professionals to really shine. I do believe there's somebody sitting out there right now who could will and deal in the private equity space. They just don't know that that's what they can do.
I mean, I think
exposed to the industry.
I think it's a lot. Absolutely. I think exposure is super important and key, right? I think the thing that changed my mindset was exposure. It was when I was in school working for a white Jewish family on City Line Avenue and seeing how a wife and a husband worked, seeing how their household worked. I was like, oh, okay. And they were, I was like, this is cool seeing
Especially
how.
Jewish.
Absolutely. I was like,
playing.
y'all better work this out here. This
They'll
is good to me.
Be playing no games.
It was working. She was running that household, and also looking at my dance teacher who was also married and how that worked, and being exposed to that, and traveling and getting outside of my community, and being able to see. So exposure is super important. But I also think it is the posture that we have here as a community. We don't revere our old people. These people have worked in industries, because everybody is not going to go into private equity. Everyone is not going to be those investors, business people. And I'm talking about even myself. The capitalist mindset, we don't take care of our seniors and elderly people. These people have worked in the civil service, whether you were a janitor at a school, if you were a post delivery person. When you retire, it's almost like we're going to ship you off to the pasture. Like your income drops dramatically. You're then taxed on the very thing that was pre-tax deductions to take out for your 401. It is totally a ripoff for our seniors, people who retire. It is a con. It is a ploy, and I think it is horrible. I mean, I'm looking at people who are recently retired. They got their pensions, their 1099-Rs, and they're getting a little bit of Social Security, and they're owing $5,000 and $6,000, unknowing to them that this is what their retirement was going to look like, because they weren't prepared. The person's telling you about retirement, but they're not telling you about the taxes that you're going to then have to pay. I just think, as a country, as a community, how do we help our seniors when you move into that phase? Because then that also stops you from passing on wealth, passing on generation. If every year you're owing $5,000 and $6,000.
That's champion. That's why I'm telling you, the investors that champions that, because the truth of the matter is some of these systems are just systems. You ain't gonna be able to change it. In addition to that, the government is not going to be able to save everybody. They're just not. However, most of these private equity firms that are out here, they build up a decent retirement, or whoever gets in the financial services spaces, they use people's money that helps funds people retirement. So they get access to the pension plans that the city governs for people's retirement, and they go out and invest it. And when they go out and invest it, of course, they make money. The PE firm does, but the pension pool grows.
For sure.
And so if it's not enough of those people taking care of that fund in a way, you reduce the retirement of the person who's retiring. Because no matter who you are, I don't care if you make $1 billion a year or if you make $20,000 a year. When you retire, you make significantly less because you're not actively, gainfully employed, right?
Well,
I don't believe in retirement.
I mean,
that's everybody. It don't matter. The income amount is yours is just low because your job is low.
If you're a W-2 worker,
right? If you retire, your income is automatically going to drop anywhere between 40 to 50% off top. Absolutely. So throughout your working years, if you haven't prepared for that,
and they don't prepare you for that.
No, it's stuff out here. We're just not exposed.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
The people who work for the school and in the government, when they see their retirement advisor, maybe 5 years before retirement, they're not talking about retirement. Like, they're like, so this is how much you should. They're like, well, how do you want to live? And how much more money do you want to take out? They're not like.
But that's why you advocate.
But then you have to look at the advisor who then is just trying to get the fee and not trying to help the person.
That's not everybody. But
everybody's only caring about themselves and not the person you servicing. Well, if I get them to invest this and I make more money, but you're not caring about these people.
Listen, I think with the Atlanta, it's crazy too because Atlanta probably is the biggest black city in America,
outside of DC,
right?
Yeah.
And when you think about how much, you can't go anywhere here without seeing somebody black. I don't care if you south of Macon or north of Alpharetta. Like it's black. I've been in states where you can go miles without seeing somebody black.
That's
Here,
right.
you can't do it.
I mean, if you go,
you can't do it. You can't, not in Georgia. I done drove through the cracks, the crevices going through South Carolina.
I done went north on the way to Tennessee.
Right. Black
and
people
we had to go
sticks.
to the town and we had to go to the bathroom and there was no people of color.
Well,
there was none. We was up in the
you
mountains.
just went out there the day the brothers was out there.
They was not. I said, "Come on, girl, hurry up!"
They probably don't go over there.
They go to the.
They go to the backwoods.
What's happening?
They got their own gas stations over there.
Hurry up!
But the thing is guys, you need exposure. You need more people who are going into blue collar type work environments. I know we wanted to stay away from it. I don't know why, but those are $1 million industries. Period.
I think it's spending habits. Like you said, your grandmother made $80,000. She was probably more wise with her money. I think we overconsume, we overspend, and we don't save enough. And we sometimes are our own worst enemy.
I agree. I just think you ain't gonna save your way to wealth. So still gonna have to make money somewhere. You're gonna have to produce a skill.
Okay.
That's just what it is. You gotta produce a skill. And the skill in saving is investing. Because you need your money to make money.
I mean, okay, you can definitely do that. She did invest. She used her 401.
Yeah.
Right? That was an investing vehicle. Right.
So I mean, to raise the gap, you need more professionals in different environments that are making more money.
You need to make more money and spend less.
More business owners and investors to help create more jobs that you can put even your boy.
Don't say my boy. We need
what's the fan base app?
Isaac.
Right. Anybody black on that board but him?
What we saying?
They don't be hiring black people.
Well, I mean, but that to me, that's a whole self-hate thing. Because you literally just said you didn't think it was people who were qualified. I think that you got to be deliberate. You have to be deliberate at finding people to make diversity matters. The same way the same way we tell our white counterparts, us have to do the same thing. So if you want diversity and you want your vehicle and your machine to work, you should have diversity on your board. Right. You shouldn't have all white people, all rich people, all wealthy, because you're missing the gap.
But the thing is proximity. So when I say people are not qualified,
so that means he don't know no black people, no friends. He don't have people.
I don't know about him specifically, but in the PE world. There's definitely not a lot. I mean, it's a situation even on TikTok now where I know I searched TikTok is probably the fastest way to get local news.
That's my place now.
If you search black PE, you're gonna find 3 black women.
You'll start seeing more.
Oh my God!
You'll see more.
I've been doing it.
You're gonna find algorithm. It's gonna
You're gonna find 3 black women who are advocating for black people to get in that space. What entertains you trains you.
If you are only entertained by one situation, that's the only thing you will find and consume. You have to expand your algorithm to find the talent to find talent that you want. The color, the make, the shape, we out there. I don't want to hear this mess that is no black people that's qualified. I don't want to hear it. All right, so let's move on to our rapid fire. You like it or leave it. Yeah. Like it or leave it real fast because there's a lot of stuff that happened. Here we go. Harvard, let's see. Let's go on from the top. Okay, UPS laying off 20,000 workers due to less deliveries.
Like it.
You like it?
Yeah.
All right. I could leave it. I mean, but it does make business sense.
But right.
It does make good business sense. If I have less deliveries, I can't pay y'all.
Can't be in it. We ain't got no money. You gotta go.
I guess.
Go apply to FedEx.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Or Shein. They popping.
That's in China. The Smithsonian purge of black artifacts. He probably liked it.
I don't even know.
You better leave it. What you doing that for?
Yeah, but it's a nuance to it.
Yeah, I don't like it. They said they're getting rid of the black artifacts that create a uncomfortable feeling or tell the story uncomfortably. Like they're getting rid of the boycotts, the bus, the this and that. So white guilt isn't upon them as they're walking through the Smithsonian.
Okay, so real quick.
Oh Lord,
real quick.
Let me drink my.
I just went to South Carolina, and we went to see the African American Museum in South Carolina. Beautiful museum. I recommend anybody go in Charleston, go see it. But you need to follow the money. When you look at how the museum was put together, you can see the donors list. The donors list are all white corporations. Again, there's no black ownership. So at the same time, it's a knee-jerk reaction to be upset that they're purging the black artifacts. However, we don't have enough people with ownership to dictate what stays in or what goes.
Oh, okay.
So I don't like it, but we need to get more ownership. We need to change that.
Okay. How about the new Trump executive order forcing people to pass a literacy test, and you have to be proficient in English for truck drivers?
I don't like that. For what?
I kind of like it.
What kind of literacy test?
Well, they had to do. It's probably
Is it the citizenship literacy test or the literacy test?
It's literacy to make sure you can read and write.
But to drive,
they
it's
say
people who drive and who can't read.
We're talking about literacy, which is comprehension and understanding. It's not just see Sam run. It's not.
I'm trying to figure out what I don't understand.
So you have to be proficient in English, so we know what that's about. Immigrants, and you have to be literate to make sure you understand comprehension, how to read, write, and comprehend. Basically, what our third graders is going through right now.
Okay.
So it's I don't love it, but I don't hate it.
Okay.
I'm kind of in between. If that's the thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Amazon pushing for transparent tariff pricing. They were putting it on there like, your item went up because of the $23 for tariffs.
For sure.
It leaked out, but now he recalled it.
Right.
Donald Trump said it was politically targeted.
I like it. You should know what you're paying for.
I think I liked it too.
Should know what you're paying for.
Sure. Okay. Rich Americans are opening up Swiss bank accounts. CNBC says the rich American investors have jumped ship. The top 1% are opening offshore accounts by the dozens. We like it, or do we leave it?
I don't dislike it, but to say I like it, I don't know why I would say that. It's just uncertainty. We don't know what's going on in America. Trump with these tariffs is going crazy.
You understand it.
Right, I understand. If I had money to be moving over there, we'd probably be following suit.
Yeah, they said on April 2nd, it spooked investors. They all sold their stocks, U.S. Treasuries, causing $10 trillion to be eliminated. The plan was to de-Americanize their investments to a more stabilized Swiss franc.
Right. They're just trying to keep their money safe throughout.
So if the top 1% is like, I think we need trickle down don't work on this part, right? So
no, they just shifting money. This if you looking at what they doing, you need to be trying to get to the 1%. That's the answer to that.
Well, the Swiss said you can open up accounts here.
You can
online. Just go on. I forgot the name of the bank, but I'll come back. All right, like it or love it. We got one more. Or are we done?
Sure. No, I think it's a wrap.
Okay. We can say these for the other ones.
Overtime. Yeah.
Okay.
So all right, y'all. Listen, the black inequality or
how
income
you feel
gap.
About the inequality in
Yeah,
Atlanta? Let us know. Why you think it's happening
if you live
here?
in Atlanta, you making money. What you think it is?
Yeah.
They're gonna say taxes, but like, share, subscribe, hit that bell. We'll see y'all next episode, y'all. Peace.